Right. So this is how it actually all started. I decided to try and play World of Warcraft Classic properly in 2026. And yeah, I've played retail, so in my head I thought, you know what? Surely I've got some idea of what I'm doing. Well, it turned out no. Classic is a completely different beast. I went in with no guides, no real plan, just questy, dialogue UI, and I guess some vibes. And apparently, no understanding of how ones work, which is worrying, considering that I had picked a warlock. But honestly, that was kind of the point. I didn't want to min-max, or I didn't want to follow a guide telling me exactly what to do, what to buy, what talents to pick, or even how to play properly. I just wanted to see what it actually felt like to experience the game as if I played it back in the day. And within about 10 minutes, I realized that Classic was not going to hold my hand at all. The first thing that actually hit me was how little the game explains anything. Even with Questy kind of showing me and putting me into the right direction, I started to slow down and actually pay attention to what I was doing. The game kind of gives you some quest text and general idea of where you should be going, and then basically just tells you, well, good luck. And weirdly, I did like that. And I wasn't just rushing from marker to marker. I was reading what people were actually saying, looking around the area, and just trying to work out what was actually going on in this world. Which sounds really basic, but compared to a lot of more modern MMOs or even games in general, it just felt a lot more refreshing. It made the world feel as if like it wasn't a checklist of what to do, but an actual place that you were in. Even if half the time I was just running around the place pretending I knew where I was going, it at least felt organic. Then I actually started the fight thing, and even that felt different. Every tiny little thing felt like a new discovery. Defense skill, weapon skill, buying spells, as having to put them onto my abilities bar. It felt like the game was constantly reminding me, you are level 3, so please calm the hell down. I know to anyone who actually knows Classic, this probably is just part of the basic gameplay. But to me, that was all new. I was basically learning how to walk again, except this time with a dagger, a few spells, and absolute terrible decision making. The real funny thing is, because the game is slower, the small stuff actually begins to feel more important. Getting your first spells feels great. Training your weapon up feels good. Even them times when you get into a fight that you probably should not have, you end up pulling way too many and you just go, oh snap. But you somehow pull through, it was amazing. Now this is where I started realizing that Classic has a lot more than go speak to that guy energy than I actually expected. If I wanted new spells, I had to find that trainer. Even if it meant speaking to a guard and asking like, where am I actually meant to go and find that individual? If I wanted to be less useless, I had to pay for it. If I wanted to actually learn a new profession, I had to actually walk into that building, find a person to talk to, instead of the game just handing me everything from the start through a menu. And honestly, I loved that. It made the world actually feel alive. But it also meant I spent time, and a shocking amount of time that is, standing in front of NPCs and just thinking, am I even meant to buy this? Can I afford this? Is it really what I should be doing? Should I be saving my coins for something else? Or why am I so poor already? And because I wasn't trying to follow any guides, every decision actually felt really dramatic. Like, I wasn't just buying a spell, I was making an actual financial decision. And at level 4, with your first few bits of silver and your little scraps of copper, every single budgeting decision actually feels like it could affect me in the future. After a while, I started to get a little bit too comfortable, which in Classic is apparently the exact moment that the game decides to humble you. See, I was thinking, yeah, I get how this works now, I got my spells, I got my little route planned out, and I know what I'm gonna do and where I'm going. But the fact of the matter is, I did not know what I was doing. And that's the part I actually respect about Classic. If something goes wrong, it feels like it's your fault. And it probably is your fault. You probably pulled too much, you weren't paying attention, you got greedy, you even thought that you were the main character in this world. And then the game will very politely send you back as a ghost. And I know that dying in the starting zone probably isn't all that impressive, but for me, it was a proper reminder that this game is not playing around, and that even the low-level stuff can catch up with you and kill you if you ain't paying attention. Eventually though, I started to feel like I was actually becoming a warlock. I mean, not a good one, but a warlock nonetheless, so let's not get carried away. I was buying the right spells that I felt worked for me. I was learning what my class could actually do, slowly trying to understand why people love the older version of this game. It's slower, yeah, but it feels slower because every little upgrade actually matters. You don't just become stronger every 5 seconds. A gripe that I did have with retail when I did try to jump into that before starting this WoW playthrough, but you actually learn and earn everything in this game piece by piece. And after spending the first part of my journey confused, broken, mostly winging it, I finally got to the part that actually made me feel like I had chosen the right class and actually the right version of this game. And then the moment that I was actually waiting for all this time came, the Void Walker. You see, this was the first time that I actually felt like, okay, we're actually becoming something. I wasn't just that confused person with a robe and a stick, but an actual warlock. And by the end of my first session, I still barely knew what I was doing, but I'd at least learned the most important things. That classic is slower than retail, but it also feels a lot more personal. That random players matter more. That trainers matter more. That even the tiny upgrades matter more. And apparently, if someone is nice enough to give you a wand, you should probably learn how to use it rather than just keeping it in your inventory and spending several levels treating it like a decorative stick. So yeah, first day in Classic, confused, humble, slightly poor, but weirdly hooked.